Hello, friends. Here we are. Welcome to Cuéntame USA with Moncho. Today is a special day for me. Nah, it's not. It's a regular day. Today we have a wonderful guest. She's a very talented stream metal vocalist hailing from Hanover, Germany.
Yes, hello, Moncho. Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Her name is Britta Görtz, which I never said. Britta Görtz. She's in Germany. She's also a vocal coach, songwriter, lyricist, I think a voice actress also. I think so. No?
Yes, that's the recent thing that has been popping up in my vocal life, I guess. So like for like a little over a year, I'm a part of a voice acting agency that hosts many metal vocalists all across the globe. It's called La Fabrique de Monstres.
Oh, what is this, in Canada?
Acting. Yes, yes.
Montreal. I don't know French, but I was in Montreal. Better. That's about it. She was the woman of the thrash metal band, which I heard a lot from many years ago. It's called Creeper. They put out 5 albums and I think an EP also.
Yeah, that's true. We put out like our first EP in 2005, I guess, and then 5 albums. Like last 2 ones, we were signed to Metal Blade, and then we disbanded in 2014.
Yeah. Right. We're going to talk about a little bit about everything.
2018, sorry, we disbanded in 2018. Oh my God, what am I saying?
18. We'll go back to that. I was going to ask you a question. You were born in Hanover also, right?
Yes.
You always lived in the same city? Or
yes.
Right?
Yeah, I do. Like, I mean, Hanover is a city in Germany that is like quite in the middle. So, or like in the little up to the north, but otherwise kind of like it's really good when you have a band and you play many shows because you can drive everywhere pretty quickly. Plus, Hanover it's a city, but it's not so big that you it's not Berlin, you know, like you still have like you can have anonymity if you want to, but you don't have to be anonymous if you don't want to be. So it's like a decent sized city. So right. I like it here.
I think there is like a Volkswagen factory there, no?
Yeah, very close by. Yeah, in Wolfsburg. Yeah, very close by.
Yeah, it's very, and it's also the audio company. I think Sennheiser, no? The audio company.
Sennheiser is here as well. Yeah. I've been there many times. I know a few people who work there, and yeah, this is like the headquarter of Sennheiser is, I don't know, 25 minutes away from me.
They also have a soccer team, which is really not that good.
I don't know anything about it.
I think it's Hanover 96. They used to be
a
good team, but I don't know what happened. I guess they got lazy.
I don't know. I'm not interested in soccer.
No, I just remember the soccer team. They call you. You have a nickname, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how to say. Is it Elchkuh? How do you say it?
Elchkuh.
Elchkuh?
Yeah, and it's a female moose.
Yeah. I was like, what happened? I don't know. When did you get this name from? Like when you were younger, when you were a teenager, or?
No, totally not. And it's related to me being a vocalist because I think when we played our first or our second tour, we toured with a band called Hatred, and I think it was the drummer's little daughter who looked at me on the YouTube screen, and she was like, "She sounds like a moose." and then I kind of had that nickname, and I really love that name because I don't know, I really find it very unique, and it just fits my humor perfectly. So I made it my official artist name, and it's even in my ID now.
Oh, it is. Oh, that's nice.
I thought, why not?
Why not, right? Catches your attention, that's for sure. I was going to ask you, when you were younger, which is not that long ago, were there a lot of instruments in your house? Like any pianos, like I see right there? Nothing? No violins? No?
No, not at all. I think my brother picked up bass guitar for a year or something like that. Like my brother is older than I am, but like I really do not come from an artistic household. My mom and my dad can like they both know how to draw and stuff like that, but it's
Yeah.
more like a hobby that they don't really follow up on. But I really don't come from a musical family, so I was kind of the first one starting, and
Hmm.
that's also why I started pretty late compared to many other musicians.
Mm.
But you know, it's mine like better
Mm.
late than never. So
Mm. Do you have like a record, a decent record collection, your brother, or was there a lot of music to choose from, or maybe just listening to the radio or TV, or?
my parents, I don't know, like they have a weird taste in music. I don't know, but they don't really listen to much music. So my brother got me in touch with heavier music. Like he's a big fan of Iron Maiden, AC/DC, and all the old heroes. So
Hmm.
yeah, I grew up with looking at pictures of Eddie and drawing the AC/DC logo when I was
Okay.
5 and stuff like that. So that's probably the first time that I had an
Hmm.
encounter with like really listening to music with my brother. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the same way. I was like drawing in my notebook in school, like pretend that I was cool and show you know, Van Halen and Eddie Van Halen and all that stuff.
Yeah, it could have. We could have been grown up in a worse environment than when all the rock bands were already established. So like we got in touch probably with rock bands very early on.
Right. Plus, I guess in Hanover, there was a lot of clubs. There still must be a lot of clubs, no? Music clubs and venues where a lot of bands show up,
Oh
right?
yes, I think like 10 or 15 years ago, like the music scene, especially in the smaller clubs, well, that wasn't really alive, but
Mm.
it has been revived, and there are many smaller clubs also. So we have big venues, we have an arena and everything, but I mean, like especially for smaller bands coming through, the smaller venues are good. Like I live like right next door to one of the clubs that has probably music like every night.
Okay.
So
That's right.
yeah, there's a
Mm.
lot of opportunity again to see live shows in Hanover.
Mm. So how would you describe yourself as a teenager? Like a easygoing girl, a rebellious, defiant, I don't know, a troublemaker? Where how would you describe yourself when you were younger?
Um, I think one of my characteristics would be um, many times I feel like I'm capable of looking at one thing from many different angles.
Hmm.
So I think with writing lyrics comes the ability to look at one thing from different angles and try to find an interesting angle
Right.
to look at.
Hmm.
So I'm really good at flipping things around and find uncommon perspectives on things. And sometimes that leads to good ideas, and sometimes that leads
Mhm.
to really weird conversations with
Outcomes.
friends. So, and I think I'm usually a person who's in a good mood. So like I was born on the sunny side of life, and I'm really grateful for that. So of course I have had bad times in my life, but usually I wake up in the morning and I say, "Okay, day, let's go."
Let's go. Wake up. I'm already wake up. Did your parents have a longer leash on you, I guess? Like a long leash. They will just let you
Mm,
do your
I,
thing. So they were like, where are you going? Come back.
in in some terms, yes, and some terms, no. So for example, my parents let me try everything that I wanted. So I could start any kind of sports and then let go of it. I could start any kind of musical instrument and then go of it. Maybe they should have like be a little bit more consistent there and like really come on
Okay.
like that's like do a little more. But I had a lot of freedom trying out new things, and I think that's also like still today I would love to try out new things. And
Mm.
but then when it came to my teenage years and to my rebellious years where I stayed out too long and like I
Right.
went like to parties and nightclubs and stuff like that, still maybe underage, then my parents were
Right.
like, "Where are you?"
I
So
guess
like they were kind of
there
in
is no cell
between.
phone there. Do you have
No, we didn't
no
have.
cell phone? Nothing.
No,
That was
no.
a good thing, I
So,
guess.
so of course, I was sleeping at my best friend's house, and she was sleeping over by me, and then we, went to
Right.
school very, very tired.
No, that was funny. So how did you start? How did you get interested in the metal scene, in the metal genre? Just by just listening to music and pretending to be one of those nice singers, or
Oh, not necessarily. I think my first idea was to become a guitarist, and
oh,
then the second idea was to become a drummer. And
mm,
then I started to play drums. I had my own drum kit for about a year before I don't know. I can't really say that I lost interest, but it was more like, I mean, I had a 12 square meter room, and I
mm,
shared that with my bed and my and my drum set, and it was, I don't know. I think that's the lame reason behind why I let it go. Um, but
mm,
yeah, metal was always in my life, like from early age on. As I said, through my brother, I knew all the Iron Maiden records and AC/DC and whatnot, stuff like that. And
mm,
then I had a big, big love for Guns N' Roses
mm,
when they were big in the 90s. So that was really my king. So I had a weird phase where I was both listening to New Kids on the Block, and on the other side of my cassette would be Guns N' Roses, and then of course, like, Guns N' Roses led to Metallica, yada yada yada. You know the story, and all of a sudden we have yeah, a metal vocalist.
yes,
So that got me started. I had many different phases, like a goth phase, indie phase, alternative phase, whatever. I never had a hip hop phase, although I love hip hop, but metal was always by my side, so it never left my side.
but no rap. You never thought of. Do you have a rap that you like, or maybe it's something like heavy, like Rage Against the Machine, or something like?
Oh, yes, yeah, that of course. But I mean, I really have a sweet tooth for beatbox.
Okay.
Beatboxing is something that I wouldn't say I listen to it a lot, but on a regular basis. And I have a couple of beatboxers that I really love that I follow. I also went a couple of years ago. I went to the beatboxing world championships in Berlin,
Oh, that's
which was a very, very cool event, and I was just like, wow, what are these people
mm,
doing? And yeah, I, I always say to myself, I need to take a beatboxing course, like a crash course. Like, tell me how to do the weird things.
right. That's funny. So, your first band, how do you get into in touch with the other? I like you said that you go know each other. It's a big city. It's a big city, Hanover, 200. I don't know, 50,000 or 500. I don't know. But you know a lot of people. So I guess how do you get in touch with the other members of Cripper? Did you knew them from hanging out with, seeing them in clubs? So how did the whole thing started?
No, well, actually, Crippa was not my first band. It was my
Oh, it
first
wasn't.
band where I
Okay.
was where I was singing, but yeah, I had a boyfriend who was in a band, and I
Okay.
was getting on his nerves that I wanted to be in a band as well. And one day we had a fight, and he said, "You will go now and look for your damn band and stop getting on my nerves." And I'm like, "Okay," and I'm gonna. So I picked up the local music scene paper, which is called the magazine here,
Oh, okay.
and I flipped it open, and there was a band looking for a singer, and I went there, and they were like kind of like rock style band, and they had an amazing singer, like seriously, like an Eddie Vedder type vocal range singer there, and I
Wow.
was just like I don't know if I can do that, and it probably sounded really horrible, but they were sharing their rehearsal room with two of the later members in Cripper, with Christian and Jonathan, the two guitarists.
Mm,
And then
okay.
the other guy of the other band said, like your voice sounds more like that of a screamer. Like, why don't you go over to these guys? And I'm like, okay, what are you guys doing? Oh, thrash metal. Yeah, I love that. Let's do it. So
Uh,
that's how we got in touch. So they had a rehearsal room there. They got to know each other through studying, and they
mm,
rented the space for jamming it out. And I was the third one to join the not the yet unnamed band Cripper back then.
mm. But did you take music lessons before that? Were you or vocal?
Yes, I mean, I was taking some vocal classes before that, and I was also singing in a choir, which was one of the most weird experiences in my vocal life so
You're
far.
talking about like a music, church choir?
No, like more
Oh,
like we had pop songs and we were singing
oh,
on like other people's weddings or like some city fest stuff like
oh,
that. So but like nothing really unique, like like a like a city choir maybe.
okay.
Um yeah, but of course like when it comes to harsh vocals, I never had any lessons because there wasn't even YouTube when I started. YouTube wasn't a thing yet. So
Right.
I just grabbed the microphone and I had my voice and then I
Well, you had
tried.
like a cassette that you were recording in a cassette, and that was it.
No, I did not record a cassette. I just went to their rehearsal room and we jammed together,
Oh,
and then I just like, "Rah!" and then we wrote our first songs. That's what it's. It was not an audition. So
oh,
they,
it
they
wasn't
they
an
were
audition.
at the time they weren't even looking for a vocalist because they thought they wanted to write some songs before they were starting looking for other musicians.
Right.
And I popped up, and then we started to look for a drummer and
Hmm.
just rolled down the hill was the idea.
And you stay in Creeper for what, 14 years, something like that?
Yeah,
14?
we were together for 14 years. Yeah.
Once on time, like to put out 5 albums, right? Full albums. Yeah. One of you put 2 albums in one year, in the same year, I think,
Yeah,
2014.
but this may look like that from the outside, but
Oh,
we recorded our first album and put it out under no label, and then we had a label and re-released the record while we were already
uh,
working on the next one. So like we were not that fast in writing. It was like 2 years apart, but yeah, it was a re-release. So it looks like that from the
yeah, it
outside.
looks like that. Like, man, they were busy that year. What are they were doing?
We did do that.
Yeah. I was gonna. You were the lyricist in Creeper. Were you writing the all the songs
Yes, apart from one song, yes.
apart from one song?
Mhm.
When you write your songs, you go back more like to the past, present, or future? Those uh, your imagination goes back to the past more like when you write things that happened prior, or
Well,
you go back and forth. Depends
it's
on.
very it's very different. I tried many approaches over the years because, well, if you write your first five lyrics or five songs, it's like, oh yeah, it's just flowing out of you. But then after you have written like 50 or 60, sometimes it's okay. What can I write now about? Because sometimes it's just empty, you know.
Right.
So I tried different approaches, and in a very weird way, even when you think about the future, the past is your experience that leads to thinking of the future. So whatever.
Right.
I think I go more back into the past,
Hmm.
and I try to write from a very narrow angle. I try to pick the most interesting parts of a feeling, of an experience, and maybe like um, put a lot of emphasis on that one specific feeling to make it as intense as possible. So that's one thing that I do. And the other thing is that for Critical Mass, I have also written a concept album that touches the possible AI is taking over like
Okay.
dominion of the planet. So, and that is obviously like a possible future
Very,
scenario.
very possible, I think.
And I just played around with that because at the time I was working in a company that like I was surrounded by tech nerds in that company, and it was so much fun to just play around with these ideas. Yeah.
Hmm. So when you mentioned Critical Mass, that band you joined Critical Mass while you're still uh,
In
working with Creeper, right?
Mhm.
And what was the reason? Because what happened to Critical? I mean to Creeper. It was the problem with touring. Some of your members they got tired. How did you jump into a new band while still
A
doing that?
little bit of everything. So for one, I was really interested to play heavier music as well, but I didn't want to let go of Cripper because Cripper is like it's still it's my heart band,
Right.
so to speak. Um, But yeah, you're right about the touring thing. So we had many offers to play many shows, and because of the development in the private lives of some other members, we couldn't do that. And
Okay.
we were running into some fights here and there, or some arguments where one was pulling in that direction and the other one would pull into that direction. And I said, okay, I need to let go of that. I need to
Mm.
live this band in peace and do their thing together as 5 members, but I can seek more shows and more life experiences maybe somewhere else. And this is what I did, and this is why I to this day have 2 bands. Yeah.
Hmm. And so with the Critical Mass, you did a lot of tours. You're still doing them. I think this year you were touring with Critical Mass, right?
Yes, earlier this year.
Earlier this year. Um, so the band is really good. Critical Mass. You put out 2 albums, right?
Yeah, 2 albums.
They're
Yes.
really good. They're really heavy.
Thank you.
I was going to ask you about the second album. The title, Man-Made Machine, Man-Made. I was like a little confused with that title.
Yeah, see, this is the concept album that I was speaking about earlier.
Right.
So like uh, every song on that album, Man Made Machine Made Man, is a chapter that on the way of AI taking over leadership on the planet, and then further developing. So and then when I thought like maybe it's a nice idea when in the beginning like humans invented AI, and then further down the road when humans are no longer a thing, AI is reinventing a human being. So this is like a man-made machine that makes a man in the end. And so I was like, with this alliteration of title, I was just like, it just came to my head, and I thought this was a really nice thought to play around with.
You seem like you come sometimes to the rescue when they really need a singer. You show up, like.
Oh, I hope not.
No,
Well, actually, Critical Mass they were approaching me because I teach, and they were asking me like, "Do you know anyone who would like to take over? Do you know any student?" And I'm like,
okay.
"Are you planning to change your style? Because I really love your style." And then they were like, "No," and then like I want to do it, and they were like, "Okay." That was how I got on board. Like they didn't even ask specifically.
Oh, it's easy.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Hiraes is a newfound band, so like we got together before the first song was written, so it doesn't feel like jumping to the rescue. It feels more like finding even the band name together. So
yeah, Hiraes is really it's more melodical, more melodic metal, but we're not going to talk about the album because it came out in 2021, right? You joined Hiraes. You joined them in 2020, early 2020.
Yeah, Hiraes was founded in 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, out of the Dawn of the Seas, which I had no idea of that band. I started listening to them, and it's a great album. If we're talking about your Hiraes album that you put out, Solitary, it's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, really good. There's so many songs that I like. I like melodic, a lot of stuff. Well, I like everything, but this album really caught my attention. And I was going to ask you, there's so many things that I could ask you regarding, I was going to ask you about Critical Mass. Are you putting out a new album soon? Are you writing songs for that?
I don't know. Yeah, we have a ton of riffs, but we haven't we haven't put them together to songs. So if you want a riff collection, we have some.
Okay.
No, it's kind of like a slow writing process. Like in Hiraes, everything is kind of very different because in Hiraes we have one main songwriter, and in Critical Mass, like everyone is kind of writing.
Okay.
So that is good and bad at the same time.
Yeah, you're talking about Lucas, the guitarist on Hiraes, right? He's the main man. Well, not
he's the main songwriter, so it's like his brain into his fingers into his guitar.
It's really good. He called you for the gig. Did you go to an audition with Hiraes, or that was it? You knew them, and that was.
Well, knew them.
Were there other candidates?
I knew who they were. We've played together with Dawn of Disease a few times, like with Cripper and also with Critical Mass. So I knew who they were. And then Lucas approached me via email and asked me, and then he said, I have a few songs that I might put out into different musical thing. Would you be interested in listening to that? So just he was very, very vague, even though he had the idea of forming a new band.
Right.
But he didn't, like, no one knew that Dawn of Disease would split up. So he was like very vague and careful with that. And I said,
Hmm.
well, I don't have time. Time has me, so I do what I feel like is good for me. So send me the stuff and I tell you. And then he was like calling me. He's like, I don't really have stuff. It's just we're forming a new band. We want you as our singer.
That was it.
So that was pretty much the conversation. Like it was a little longer and a little nicer than I just phrased it, but yeah, that's and it was really cool because we wanted to have not an audition, but we wanted to have the feeling of being in the rehearsal room together and playing some songs together
Hmm.
before we would call as a band. But then the pandemic came and we just, okay, let's just write a song and then meet whenever we can. So we wrote our first song, Outshine, and sent files back and forth. And then in May, when it was possible, for a few weeks, like we met in the rehearsal room and
Hmm.
played that song and a couple of other songs of other bands. And then
Right.
we called ourselves a band.
Hmm. Because you don't live in the same city, right?
No, we don't.
You do you meet each other very often, or right like now? Do you? Well, I guess you're in touch with them every day or once in
Yeah,
a.
pretty much every day. We have like a group chat that we use and an online forum and stuff like that, and we chat every day and talk stuff. But mostly we're seeing each other when we play shows.
Right.
Um, we rehearse seldomly. Like I think we rehearsed like 3 times total. Because I mean, everyone is. We are a new band, but everyone is like kind of an experienced musician, and
They're
everyone
professional. Yeah.
knows how to know their shit.
Right. Right. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big advantage, and no one is lazy in this band, so everyone's comes prepared to the show. Everyone knows their stuff.
Right. They all showed up on time when you go to a show.
Yes.
Nobody's late.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard a lot. Those songs are there's so many songs I heard that album. You know, 1,000 Lights and Under Fire. It's a lot. So they're all good songs. What's the? I think you got two for next year. You already got 2 gigs for your band. I think I read right
Yeah, I
next
think
year
two. I think two
or
are
five.
announced, but we have more shows
Ah,
than
you
than.
already got more than two. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're doing good.
my phone knows,
You got a lot of stuff in there that nobody
and my
knows.
and my tablet has new songs.
Oh boy, don't lose them. No, no, I was thinking, I don't know who was. I think it was Lana Del Rey. You know Lana Del Rey, right?
Yes, I do.
I think I don't know if it was in Los Angeles or someplace in California. She left the iPad and a lot of stuff in the back of the car, in the back seat, and they stole everything.
Oh.
Photos, things of songs, everything. So I'm thinking, just be careful though. You may lose a lot of stuff. Don't
when
leave
it
anything
comes
in
to
the back.
music when it comes to music and lyrics, I'm really careful with that, so I have backups of that everywhere.
Okay. Yes. Have you, when you went on tour, have any stolen things from your van, or do you ever encounter any problems like
Oh yeah,
that?
my whole backpack once got stolen, with my phone, with my keys, with my jacket, with my money, everything. My whole backpack was stolen on once, yeah. Other than that, I don't think anything got stolen. I think we lost a couple things, and Hires is really big in forgetting the backdrop. That's why we have a pink kids school backpack that says Paw Patrol.
Okay.
This is where our backdrop lives. And so it was brand new, and we left it at the first show, and then we got it back, and then we left it at the next show.
You need copies of that thing, just in case. I was gonna ask you a stupid question, but most of my questions are stupid anyway. So I was gonna ask you about the chain. I see you with that chain a lot of times,
Yeah,
and a
it's
lot
from
of
my
videos.
dog that it's from my dog that I had when I was a kid.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I had a dog, and the dog was put to rest when I was, I think, 14 or 15.
Oh,
And it was just such a horrible
oh,
time. So
man.
yeah, I wear that a lot, and it's from my dog.
That's cool. Now I like it more than before.
Yeah, I always have her with me in a way.
You're more like a dog person than a cat person, or
Totally, totally.
totally dog. Because seems to me like people that play metal or goth, they love cats more than dogs. I don't know. Is it me?
It seems like that, or maybe they are more vocal about that. But like, I recently met Julien from Benighted again. Like we went to a show of Benighted and watched them. Like Loma, the bassist, and Critical Mess, and I went. And
Hmm.
he is also such a dog person. And I think we were having like the same topic at some point, that we are dog persons. That I mean, it's not that I don't like cats, but it's more like cats don't like me. I don't know. Dogs like me. Every dog comes to me and sits with me. I don't know whether I know the dog or not. They're just with me, and I do not have bacon on me all the time.
Must be the muse thing.
Do
Um,
you have a dog?
I got two dogs. I took her to the veterinary yesterday because she had a problem with the leg, well, the knee.
Oh,
It's get,
okay.
she has problems with their extremities, you know.
Oh, okay. Is it
So
bad?
it's a little torn, the ligament, a little bit.
Okay.
So she needs to rest, and she cannot climb steps and
Yeah.
take some medication and see what happens. If she has to, she needs surgery. It's a lot of money. It's like $6,000 just for surgery. So I'm like, "Ooh, I'll take care of you. Let me massage you, see if I can fix you before doing the." No, she's doing good. We got two dogs. But I had cats also when I was young, but I love dogs. What can I say? Um, I was going to ask you about the structures of the songs in Critical Mess compared with Hiraes.
Oh,
Uh, uh, because they're totally different. They're two totally different bands. I guess that's the reason you joined them, because it has a lot to do, but not that much to do with each other. If I The way you're singing also is different from the two bands. There's a lot of difference between the two bands. Is that one of the main reasons why you joined Hiraes?
oh
Because
yes,
there was
definitely. I
something
mean, like,
different.
for me, there would be no purpose to in playing like in two bands that sound very similar, because then also, like, when I write lyrics, I I know exactly for which band I write lyrics when I have something in front of me that I wrote, um,
Okay.
because it's mostly destructive for Critical Mass, and it's
So
just some.
when you're sitting down on a piece of paper, you think this is for Hiraes and this is for Critical Mass, or maybe you start and this is for Hiraes and then you change it. Now this is more for like.
It never happened so far, but it probably would happen would the bands play the same kind of genre. So I mean, from the outside perspective, both are metal bands.
Right.
I think, like, yeah, the approach is different, of course. Like, I mean, both bands have tempo and feel changes and beat changes a lot. They both have that in common. But I would say that the structure in the characteristics of structure in a higher song is
Mm.
more like a classical ABC structure, and in critical mass it could be anything, really. I mean, it's not highly complex. I wouldn't go so far. It's more like old schoolish death metal with a slight hint of technical death metal, I would say. Um, but it's far more
Is it more like more
demanding to write for critical mass, because
mm,
of, like, in this whole pattern of structure of instruments,
mm,
so many spots are already taken in critical mass, so I have to really look for
right,
my spot. And also,
right.
in critical mass I look at my vocals more like somewhere between the drums and the bass, or more like on the percussive rhythm section side, where I
Okay.
add rhythm. And in high res I'm more like somewhere between the guitars, and yeah, I'm more like a more melodic
So there
screamer.
is more room to work with Hiraes.
I wouldn't say more room, but my room is more defined. It's more logical, so I don't have to look for it so long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's easier to, like, in both cases it's the same amount of work finding words, but like the phrasing comes easier to me for Hiraes than for critical mass, because there just seems so many possibilities, and in critical mass, as far as like the songs can be completed in many different ways. And for Hiraes, it's more like, okay, Lucas has a hymn in mind here, Lucas has a fast part in mind here, and he just triggers the spots in me. I don't know.
uh, when you hit the road and you go before going on stage, do you practice? Because I see saw a couple of videos where you like growl and scream, and do you always do that before going on stage, or once in a while, or how do you prepare
Well,
power before going?
I practice at home so that I know the words,
Okay.
and I can sing them well. And I mean, I'm a vocal teacher for extreme
Yeah.
vocalists. So for the last 3 years, where I'm doing that 100%, I can say that I always stay very fit vocal-wise.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. But of course, singing my own stuff is more demanding than teaching, where I'm not singing for 1 hour straight through.
Right.
So I practice that in the rehearsal room, and I train for, like, especially in the beginning when we started to play the high-res songs. They have so many tempo changes. Some you don't even recognize, but when you sing and play them, you always have to know on which tempo to land. So I practiced that. I went on the cross trainer in my gym, and I
Okay.
was cycling in the tempo, and then I was thinking of the next tempo that would come with the chorus, and trying to find the new
Oh,
one, so that my body would like take it in rather than my brain, so that I knew what's coming next. So that's how I prepare for that. Um, and then, yeah, before the show I warm up, and that's probably the videos that you saw
yeah.
on Instagram, because for some reasons, like, these reels are always like taking off. They're like very popular, where I just go like moo, and then like
Right.
everyone's like, oh, I like that.
Like I was showing where my place of work. The people that I work with, they don't like metal. To tell you the truth,
Yeah.
they're like more into pop stuff and reggaeton and all that. But it's funny because I think I show one of those videos. Oh, what is she so angry about? What is she angry? like, and like, she's not angry. She's practicing. These people, they don't know. They don't.
Yeah, which is funny, because I spent some time thinking about that. Why so many people think of this style of singing as being aggressive. And then
Yeah.
and then I did some research, and it's really interesting, because, as a kid, we come to this earth, and our birth scream is
Yeah.
a metal vocal. And then as a kid, we have so many emotions that make us scream: joy, fear, pain,
Right.
it's like living life and enjoying life. And there's so much joy in a kid's scream. But over the years, when we get older, we lose that joyous scream. So the only thing where we really loud and we use our false chords and everything is
Right.
when we warn someone to yell at them, or when we're angry. So this
Right.
is like staying with us, and I think this is a really adult thing to look at screaming. Here comes my perspective change in. So, and if you do that with kids, they just join you. You scream with kids, and they don't perceive it as being aggressive. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're doing like a scream game. That's cool." Ah!
Right.
And they can just naturally do it, and we have to relearn. And then you need vocal teachers, you know.
Right. Right. Which is they're doing a great job on that. I was going to ask you, what was the worst thing that ever happened to you on stage? Like problems with your stomach, healthy, like
Yeah, I lost my voice on stage
you lost
once.
your voice
Yeah, that was
totally?
horrible. That was horrible. It was on the Metal Camp Festivals, Camp Festival, and it's called Metal Days now, but it used to be called Metal Camp Festival. I played this many times.
Hmm.
But yes, I lost my voice on stage, and I had that was in 2007 or 8,
Hmm.
and I had so much fear that my voice would never come back.
But,
And yeah, that was horrible. It was a really horrible experience. And I think we played there 1 or 2 years later, and I apologized to the crowd again, and we finished a song that I couldn't even
you
finish
couldn't.
singing that has like a part in it where you go back and forth with the audience with screams, and I just had to walk off stage because my voice was just
Wow.
gone.
How about forgetting words? Do you forget words when you
All
sing?
the time. I just like don't stop singing, blah 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 blah. Just English coming out of my mouth, like, and especially the first album of Critical Mass, I took over the lyrics from a different singer who wrote the lyrics for that
Right.
album, and he has a completely different style in writing, and it's so difficult for me to remember them. So I have to relearn and relearn these lyrics because they just won't stick in my brain. So yeah, I make many mistakes on every show. So I probably had maybe like 10 or 20 shows in my career where I did not forget any lyrics of maybe even only 10. Yeah. But
And what about when the next day? I mean, you did a lot of shows with Creeper and the two bands. From one show to the next, do you forget what happened? Let's say the night before, a couple of days before, it's like totally gone of your memory of those shows, and you just keep going and going, and
no.
you always keep something out of something that you enjoyed or something that happened in any of those shows. It's like
Oh,
you go
definitely. Every
back
time.
to every show there is something different. It's nothing
Yeah.
that just
I
goes
mean,
clear.
over the years, of course, some things get lost in the memory. And I mean, as a metal band or as a partying band, there's sometimes alcohol involved
Right.
that doesn't help memorizing.
Right.
But like I never drink before I go on stage. I mean, I have 1 or 2 beers, but I don't drink before I
Right.
go on stage. So I can probably recall every show if you help
Mm.
my memory. It's weird because sometimes when you play, especially at club shows, some of the clubs, like I have there's a club in Hungary and one in Italy, and they got mingled together in my brain into one building. So like,
Right.
and when I walked in, I'm like, oh wow, this is so different than I
It's not
remember
the
it.
same one.
Um, but no, like usually I remember, and especially when you are on tour and you can stay in that tour bubble. When you have like a 2 or 3 week tour and you just stay in that bubble, everything is like what you're doing on the day is kind of the same because you have to unload the truck and blah 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 blah,
Right.
and that's kind of the same. But still, you're so focused on the musician side of your identity that I absorb it so much. And when you have like a work day and you're busy on the weekends or like also on festivals, sometimes it's just like a change of scenery so much that that things don't sink in so
Mhm.
deeply.
Mhm.
But especially on touring, I can still go back to 2010 and go through every club and every show that I
Wow.
have
Awesome.
something in my mind, probably. Yeah.
Wow. Because a lot of people, a lot of singers, they are music. I speak with a lot of bands that a lot of them don't even remember anything about them. I guess they were, like you said, too much alcohol. They don't remember which show it was, what day it was, or what month it was.
Yeah, my
Right.
brain works weirdly because like I have so much trouble remembering faces. So
Hmm.
I more remember what someone is wearing and the hairstyle and hat. And I mean, if I met you tomorrow on the street with not a red hat on and no glasses, I would have a really big trouble to just remember your face. Facial features I don't remember easily, but places I remember. So maybe that's, I don't know, an imbalance there. I've run
Yeah.
into so many weird um, encounters with people that I have met several times, but in a different environment, and I just talk to them like I don't know them, and it's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing, but I don't know how to change that. That's my
Yeah,
own
I
requirement.
understand. I have problems with names when your name is, oh, my name is Mary. Oh, okay. 2 seconds later, I don't know her name. I don't pay
Yeah.
attention. It's just,
No.
uh, you are very, in the metal scene, you're very known. A lot of people know you. Uh, when you meet fans or people that follow your band, did they think of you like, besides just being a singer, that you could transfer uh, your knowledge to everyday life issues, like because you are so good at one thing, you should know about all other things, like asking you, I don't know, should I do this, should I do the other thing, what do you think? Do they have more like an understanding of you, like you are very knowledgeable? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. It's sometimes it happens through my lyrics. So it happens quite often that people approach me and tell me,
Like
well,
asking for advice from you.
yeah,
That's
they
what.
ask me for advice about this, or they express their appreciation for the advice that they got from the lyrics that I wrote. So in that sense, maybe they most people don't come to me for life advice, but yeah, through the music they feel like they are supported somewhere in their life, and sometimes they just tell me, well, I went through a really hard time. This and that song helped me, and then you engage in a conversation because you feel like you talk to a like-minded person who went through something similar, and you can
Mm.
just exchange a few friendly words. But it happens the same way around, like when people approach me, when I speak about my lyrics and what has triggered them, they sometimes approach me and also tell me, oh, you managed well even though you weren't feeling well, or something like that. So yeah, they are really supportive also when I don't know.
Yeah. How
I
about your
just
students? Because you do that, you have your vocal coaching. Is it the Pro Mix Academy? Uh,
No, it's not just the Prom. The Promix Academy is hosting my video course, but I have live students most of the time, so I'm teaching every day.
the
Um,
online, you do the online
most of the time.
courses.
I have some students here in Hanover as well, or students that travel to Hanover to have me coach them in my rehearsal room. But most of the time, I'm screaming into this computer that I'm looking at, and with these posters behind me. That's the average setting that all of my students know.
So those students, they ask you for advice also? Oh
Oh
no.
yes, yes, that happens a lot. I mean, um, going as a, I mean, getting to know your students and working with voice in general
Hmm.
creates a pretty intimate atmosphere sometimes, because you can hear it in a voice when someone is sad, or when someone is stressed or tense, because you cannot sing when you have a tense body. That's very unhealthy and it doesn't sound good. So you have to work against that
Hmm.
and to get rid of the tension. And when you get rid of the tension, sometimes emotion shows through in a very overwhelming thing. And then, of course, like there are certain, yeah, I am the teacher, so I try to help my students with whatever obstacle they run into
What
when it comes
what's the
to.
youngest one, the student you have, the youngest student?
Right now, I think 16 is the youngest, but the
Hmm.
youngest I ever had was 14.
Okay. Do the parents get in touch with you, asking you, oh, his attitude changed or her attitude has changed since it's been.
No,
No.
no, no, I don't think so. Like, a husband got in touch with me
Hmm.
last year around Christmas, thanking me for bringing joy to his wife's life in a hard situation that she was in for a long time. And she was looking forward to our lessons just to self care, more or less. And he
Hmm.
approached me. That was really, really nice. Yeah. But other than that, no. I mean,
What about now for Christmas and stuff? Do you get any gifts from your students once in a while? Anything?
yeah, some sent me nice things. I don't. Last year I got a honey liquor and like of course sweets, and chocolate, and teas and stuff like that. I find in my mail. But like I am not a Christmas a person. Like
Okay. All right.
I do not decorate. I do not celebrate. Like I get together with my mom and dad and with my brother and we have the dinner.
You're,
But
you're,
there are
you're
no.
like
no presents exchanged anymore. Like it's
oh
like
no.
no.
You're a little bit like me. I have nothing to celebrate. There's nothing to celebrate those dates. Only
It's someone
marketing.
else's
Just
birthday anyway.
marketing.
Like it's
Just marketing. That's all there is.
yeah, they want to sell stuff, so
And Black Friday and all that stuff. Um, I saw also like a video. Like I don't know if it was on Instagram or YouTube. I have no idea. You doing something with metal, with jazz. I mean, with
yes,
jazz meets metal, or something with Julian Scarella or something.
Julian Scacella, yeah, he's a
Scarella, yeah.
musician who
Got
also
my
lives.
attention. Yeah, what is that about?
Julian Scacella is a musician who also lives near Hanover,
Right.
and he is a metalhead and a studied jazz musician. So he blends in both,
Okay.
not necessarily through the instruments, but sometimes through um, the structure of the song or the complexity of the song has like metal elements in it. And so the first time that we worked together on a song was during the pandemic when he created a song called Unity, and he invited, I think, something ridiculous like 45 people from all across the globe to collaborate on that song. It's called Unity, and it's also on his YouTube channel.
I'll take a look.
It has way too few views for how much
Really?
work was put into it, but work is not the thing.
Remember, I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look, see what it's all about.
And it worked so well, and I gave some vocals to that, and he moved houses recently, and he was so annoyed by that the song that I was working on came out, and I added some ad lib vocals to it, so I didn't even do any words. I was just making sounds, and he was very surprised by that, but he loved it. And the videos, I think, is coming out with the album that he wrote next January or February, I think.
Oh, okay. Seems very interesting to me.
It's super interesting because I mean, like, it's for me, it's something completely different, and I don't understand what I'm doing there. Like, I don't understand. Like, it took me like, I don't know, 4 hours to understand the structure enough to be able to put words on or to put sounds on it. And for me, it's just like, okay, I can learn something and it's fun. And Julian is a super nice guy, so yeah, let's do it.
That was cool. I was going to ask you, how much of you think of your life happiness comes from music? If you put like a balance.
I don't think. Well, that's a really interesting topic that you touched there, because I feel like happiness comes from the inside, and it's nothing that can come from the outside, but it's something.
When you sing, it comes from the inside.
Yes. Right? So, but yes, that's true. So, but it's if you took music away from me,
okay,
I think I would find something to replace it with. It's a very big thing of my identity. So that would be the hardest part. But playing music is something that comes from the inside, and that is making me happy. So if I can do, I try to spend my time with stuff that tickles my brain.
Okay.
And I find a lot of brain tickling in musical work, not only in musical work, but in musical work. And that's the side that everyone sees of me. But of course, I have more things in my life that don't happen on my Instagram page. But yeah, I look at that. So the writing process, and especially playing shows where there's an exchange of energy between audience and stage, and then all of a sudden it becomes one, and you can't make a difference anymore. That's the feeling that I am hunting when I'm on stage, to try to let the differences disappear and to have it all in one bubble of emotion, of positive, aggressive vibe, if that makes any sense. So that is the thing that triggers me the most, and the band is the vehicle to do that.
So for you, it would be impossible just to do music in a studio. Not getting.
I think so.
it would
Yeah,
be
it
really
would
hard.
more feel like a job. Like I enjoy the writing process and I enjoy the songwriting because it leads to playing live. But live playing and you know, the good thing about playing live is when you make a mistake, it never comes back on your desk. When I make a mistake, like with like one of my business customers, it always comes back on my desk.
Makes sense.
But this with this live sector, it's just like, oh, mistake, gone, next.
Yeah. Hmm. Are most of your friends musicians or your life? Like if you put all your friends together, is there be more musicians than any other profession careers or
No,
no?
probably 50-50, I would say. But everyone, I don't have a single friend who does not love music. So I don't have any
Is
friends
that
who.
last something that you choose? Like, this guy doesn't like music. It's not my type.
No, no, no. It doesn't matter which kind of music, but I don't think like there are people that say I listen to whatever is served to me through the radio or whatever. And I don't know if you have ever listened to German radio. It's completely different to American radio, and American radio is much better than German radio.
I think.
And
I don't know.
I don't trust anyone who just listens to German radio. It's just I don't know. Yeah,
What
but
are they, like close-minded people or because
no, well, no, no, no. I don't want to say that. I just want to say that maybe I don't know. That's I don't know so many people who listen to the radio, so I can't judge about them. But to me, it seems very odd to not love any kind of music specifically and seek it out and listen to it because it gives so much. So I think maybe their form of communication is different, and maybe that's why I don't get in touch with them so much. I don't have a single friend who has not a real deep love and connection to music. I
yeah,
can say that. Yeah.
that makes sense. What about riding your bike? Because I think it's something that you like doing. Is you do
Yes.
that more like going on back roads or like the highway type of or riding? Oh,
I'm more the back road type rider, but I mean, we have the German Autobahn, and this is really different from your highways. So your
right.
highways is probably our Landstraße, our country streets. This is what we
Right.
call them, and I love to ride those. Yeah, I love my motorcycle, and it frees my head to just drive without having any goal or any purpose for it other than riding.
Hmm. Would you drive an electric bike if you had to, or you really enjoy the sound that the engine makes?
I really enjoy the sound that the engine makes, and I don't know if are you riding bikes as well?
I used to, but not anymore after
But
an
then you
accident.
know the saying "loud pipes save lives."
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I feel my pipes have saved my life plenty of times, so I rely on that. And of course, I mean, yeah, I'm not riding any racing
Right.
bikes. I have never been on an electric bike, so I don't know. It would surely be not my preferred thing, but maybe as a second bike, just for going around downtown.
Mm,
For you know, maybe
right.
that's something. I don't know. I have to try it
Mm.
out.
But that brings down your like high adrenaline when you are on the bike. It relaxes you, I guess, right? When you ride.
Well, I would say high adrenaline, but I mean, it's not like driving a car. As a car, you can just have your mind elsewhere, but when you're on a motorcycle, you kind of have to focus on one thing. And usually, my mind is trying to focus on 1,000 things at the same time, and that can get pretty
It's more,
crowded in my brain. And
more
when I'm on a
freedom
motorcycle,
riding a bike. Yeah.
I only have one thought. I just have like, oh, where's my road? Oh, there. Okay, careful. There's someone. That's like
Yeah,
what I think.
but it's more freedom. You feel free when you ride a bike. When you drive a car, it's like in a box, like protected from other people. I don't know.
Yeah, that and also I feel that it's a little more peaceful to ride a bike, even though it's noisier and everything, but it's like a little peaceful.
Mhm. So, well, now in the winter time, is it how is the weather now in Hanover? Is it snowing? No, it's still cold. It's cold. It's gotta be
It
cold.
was snowing like 2 days ago,
Right.
which is really early for us here. And then 2 weeks earlier, it was still feeling like summertime. It's a weird weather, but it's cold now. We have like around 0 or -2 degrees at night, and right now I think it's just like 5 or 6 degrees. So that's a normal November weather for Germany.
Right. You're more like a mountain. You like the mountains or more like the beach or the ocean? You're the beach. Because in Germany, there's no ocean. So you do. I see you do a lot of. Well, you got. There is no ocean.
The North Sea
River.
and the Eastern Sea. We have that. Yeah.
Okay.
We have a small portion of that.
Small
Yeah,
portion,
but
yeah.
when I go on vacation, I like to travel. When I think of vacation, I think beach vacation because that's my.
Okay. Do you carry your music on with you? Like you write during that times, or you're
Sometimes.
You bring your job with you?
I don't bring my job with me, but I have a foldable keyboard that I bring, and I bring my iPad and everything that I need when I want to create. I don't force it, but when it comes, I cannot sleep when I have an idea, and I don't have my stuff to. So you will find me lying awake at night into my phone and to listen to that later. So when I lose, if should I ever lose my phone, people will think I'm a weirdo because what they find on it on audios.
That's fun. I was gonna talk about collaboration. You did a lot of them. You keep doing them. I was gonna just ask you a general question. When you do collaboration with other singers, is there a way, like, I don't know how to say, but it's like not overpowering the other singer, like trying not to restrain, or you just do whatever you think is necessary? Is that like a stop or like a break that you put in?
No, of course not. I think when someone asks me to lay my vocals on a track and I find it interesting enough that I do it, it has to have something new that I don't have in my own music, maybe. Then I try to serve the song. So whatever the song needs, I try to give, and hopefully I'm capable of doing that. And like I would not purposefully change my voice into any kind of direction because of anything.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm like saying,
when there's another singer and he goes very low or she goes very low, I add a high line over that. When someone goes very high, I thicken with the low line, something like that. But I look at myself as like, okay, what does the song need? The song should be the star and not everyone who's playing the song. So it needs to come together in the song. So that's how I look at it. Yeah.
Okay. I have a couple more questions, not too many more. I got 4 questions for you. Have nothing to. Well, one has to do with music. There are stupid questions. So the one has to do with music, I'm going to ask you first. Regarding pop singers, I'm going to give you 4 singers, female singers, and you're going to tell me according to your liking 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So I'm going to give you Taylor Swift. I mentioned, think, Lana Del Rey before, so I can mention her again. Lana Del Rey, Billie Eilish, or Beyonce?
So Billie Eilish is on
3,
top.
4.
Billie Eilish is on top, and she's on the highest mountain ever.
Oh, okay. Oh,
when there's a long time coming nothing, then I would put maybe Beyonce and Lana Del Rey on the same level, but maybe Beyonce is a little bit higher. And then Taylor Swift is somewhere shopping at the bottom. I don't know.
Oh, it'll be the last one. Okay. All right. So I get an idea.
I just don't. She's probably an awesome person, but I do not like any of her songs. Like, it's weird. Like, it's usually I find something in most stuff, but she might be a big personality, but her songs is just not speaking to me.
They don't fill you up.
No, and on the contrary, Billie Eilish, I don't know where she comes from, but it's just like, I don't know, she says something and it touches me and I tear up.
Oh, really?
It's like seriously, she's just, she and her brother is just what the world needs.
Okay. I agree with that. Okay, now I'm gonna ask you a stupid question. Have you ever attended a religious procession?
You mean a procession like a religious?
Like Easter, yeah. Have you ever been or watched them?
Like the most religious things that I've attended are weddings when but nothing more than that.
Mhm. Okay.
Weddings and of course Christmas. Um, I've
But you
I've
enjoy going to church
I've
and
never spent
listening?
Christmas in a really Christian environment. Never. It was always just like the tree and presents, but never any praying. Like we did not pray at home, nothing.
Mm. But you don't enjoy listening to church choirs, or has nothing that you like about,
Um,
or about Christmas songs? Is there like any Christmas song that you enjoy listening to? Nothing.
no, no, nothing. And I personally have like I am very I am not a I'm not a fan of church as an institution.
Institution. Okay.
Religion I don't touch. Like every person should have their belief as long as
Yeah,
it doesn't interfere badly with someone else. That's my opinion. But
right,
church
right.
as an institution have institutionalized something that should not be institutionalized in my thinking and have done so much bad in the world.
Okay. So you're like thinking like me. I will use the churches just to do like a club thing, like inside, like use them for something fun.
Okay.
That would be my thing. Like in New York, when they had the Limelight, which was a church, and they had like a disco thing inside with those
Okay.
crazy lights. I enjoy going there. That was the only time I enjoy going to churches, when they have something else.
Yeah,
I
something
like the
other
structure.
than
I enjoy the building. I just don't like the people.
yeah, nothing against the buildings. It's just like the
Yeah, the
institution.
buildings are very beautiful. um, okay, another question. What traits in other people annoy you the most? Like unreliable people, complainers? What, they always want to be right, or egocentric?
Annoying. You mean, well, I of course I don't like people who are not honest, but annoying, I find people who complain a lot are very annoying, especially
Okay.
when it's the only thing that they want to do all day. It's such a waste of time.
So you don't have any members that they have those qualities.
Oh yes, I
You,
mean,
okay,
I probably
you don't gotta tell me who they are, but you have some of those, right? In both bands.
I there's no one in my band who is just like that, but of course, including me, we all have annoying features. Like I'm not sure that I don't complain so much, I would say, but
Okay.
I need to be always right.
That's why you don't complain, because you want to be always right.
Well, I don't think that it has anything to do with that,
Uh,
but this is where my father coming through. My father decide coming through, and he's always just like he wants to have the last word.
okay, another. Is there a chance that you ever um, try doing clean vocals in one of your songs?
Yeah,
There is a
actually,
chance.
yeah, there is a chance.
I mean, a
There,
whole song, not just a couple verses. The whole song.
I don't know, but there's a certain longer part in one of the new Hiraes tracks where I am debating with myself at the moment whether or not the song really
Okay.
needs clean vocals there. Um, and I am really not such a good clean singer, so I'm practicing at the moment. But I don't know. I don't want to make any promises here.
Right.
But I am very far
Like
away from
is
sing
Lucas,
supreme on one complete song. Very far away. Like
is
that's
Lucas into that? Like telling you maybe we should do that, a song like that, or it's
no.
up to you to choose to do it or not.
Lucas has some inspirational thoughts for me always on the songs, but he would never say you should do this or that. He's like, I can hear you trying this. This is like how he phrases things. He's a very um he's he's a very creative person that gives other creators around him a lot of leverage.
Okay.
Um, that's a really good thing, yeah.
Hmm. So the new Hiraes album, you working on the new songs for the?
Yes, every day at the moment.
Hmm. It's not gonna be put together quickly like the album, because your first album, right? Because
I
that
hope
one
it
it was
is. I hope it is. I hope it will be.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it seems to me, and I'm not working together with Lucas as a songwriter for a long time, so I've only accompanied the making of one album. But
Right.
it seems to me that he's more like the type of writer who has a lot of ideas, but who is working more in a compact, like a season where he's working and
Okay.
creating new music as opposed to playing guitar every day and creating. Plus, he's a father of a little girl, and that is a very big part of his life as well at the moment.
Hmm. So how do you see your band Hiraes going into the future? Like, what do you expect from the band, like musical wise, like evolving into another genre, mixing more other genres, or just keeping the same?
I hope that we keep on creating freely. And I mean, since melodic death metal is just Lucas's main genre that he's thinking in, I don't expect a lot of changes. But I
Hmm.
really hope that if if Lucas feels like he wants to write a hip hop song for Hi-Res, I really hope he has the courage to do so because
Okay.
I really like it when
Yeah,
people
you
are
did.
just like
Yeah, you
a
did the
band
Backstreet Boys song, right? Yeah, a couple of those songs, Backstreet Boys and The Weeknd. Didn't you do a couple of those
with
for
Critical
fun?
Mass. Yeah, that was what for
Yeah,
a TV show. Yeah, we were
yeah.
asked to do
So
them and covered them. Yeah,
yeah,
it was a very weird experience, but very cool.
right,
So no, I for the next album, I don't expect
right.
drastic changes.
Mm,
I think maybe it might turn out a little darker than the first one, but that's just from the first songs that we have, what I'm guessing.
okay,
Um, but I really can't say anything
right,
concretely about this.
right. Okay, so yeah, that was so. I don't want to spend much more time with you. I think you already gave you a headache talking to me, so we're gonna leave it.
Now, I have a question. I
Yeah,
see this thing in the background there.
you
Is
see
that
what?
the thing in the background of you on to your right? Is that a cover of something with like the female on it?
Oh, that's Susie and the Banshees.
Oh, that's from Susie and the Bench, the cover of their albums.
One album that she did live.
Ah, okay.
It's not an original thing. It's like recorded a long time ago, 1985, in one of
Ah, okay,
shows
okay,
that I attended. And then I found the record that they were selling, on their
ah,
type.
okay. Yeah, I was wondering the whole time what that is.
Yeah, it's Lucy and the Banshees. Some
Yeah.
heroin cancer.
Mhm.
So well, I like everything. I like punk, hardcore, metal, everything, jazz, progressive, everything.
What's your favorite band of all times, or
I
singer
got
or?
I got all female singers and one guy. To tell you the truth, David Bowie, because
Of course.
it's when I started young, I really enjoyed. Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars was something from crazy for me. And then I like Tori Amos, which is Alan's American, but she lives in England,
He's
singer
amazing.
and piano player. And I like Kate Bush. No metal. Those three things, no metal.
Yeah, cool. Oh, Kate Bush, she did some crazy things musically.
Yeah. I belonged to her club when she started. I was a Kate Bush fan. I had my number and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, cool,
Yeah.
cool.
I'm very melancholical person and I like slow songs, but I like heavy metal and hardcore and I like a lot of punk. I was like in New York in the 80s and stuff. All those metal, bands from Los Angeles, like the Dead Kennedys and all those bands. This is the Sounds of Liberty. I like a lot of hardcore
Yeah,
music from bands like X, the band X. They play like rockabilly, punk, all that stuff.
good
But I
play.
like metal.
Hardcore and New York go together, I think.
Yeah, so I was into that. But when I was young, I really enjoyed Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple, Rainbow, Dio and all that stuff, Iron Maiden. So it's a little bit of everything. Bob Dylan, I like everything.
Mhm.
So, but I enjoy your music and I enjoy your bands, and that's the reason I got in touch with you because I love your music, the way you sing. Which, let me before I forget, when I got into metal, it was clean metal, right? Because in the 80s, there was no growling, not that much. Uh, AC/DC, which is, you know, a little bit better. Like death metal, it took me a while to like it, you know?
Mhm.
It took me a while. And then I really got into it, and that's how it happens, you know? You
Yeah.
gotta try it to like it, you know? It's like when you
Yeah, you
drink.
gotta learn how to decipher
Yeah,
it
you
somehow.
gotta go with,
Same
yeah,
same with opera. Same with opera. If you haven't spent enough time listening to that, you will probably not like it and it sounds weird. But then once you get
yeah.
the hang of it, just like wow.
Opera, I really enjoyed when I was younger, and that's because my grandfather used to love opera. So he put it on the radio all the time, and he got a lot. And so I had no choice. I had to listen, and then I really enjoyed it once I learned, you know, what it's about. And so I like opera and like, you know, everything. But I'll be waiting for the new albums for Hiraes and Critical Mess. That's for sure. How everything goes. And I was going to tell for people, if you want to go and get in touch with Britta Görtz, she answers, you know, if you have a question, I'm pretty sure she'll answer you back. If you go on Instagram and say, what are you doing? What is this about? She'll answer you sooner or later because she's up to that. So just go on Google Britta Görtz or Critical Mass, and now it's easy to find. You don't have to go to a crazy record store to find their albums and stuff like it used to be. It was really hard to find something. Now it's easy. Spotify.
Now it's difficult to not get distracted while you look for something.
Yeah, you're right. You go to Spotify, you're looking for a song or for a band, and then something else shows up, and then you forget about the band you were looking for, and then you listen to somebody else, and then I don't know. It's crazy. It's too much, I think.
Yeah.
So
thank you so much for inviting me, and Sammy,
yeah,
thank you so much for our nice chat. I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
yeah, so much stuff I would like to talk to you about. So it's crazy. It will be hours. You'll be jumping out of the window. So we gotta leave it the way it is. It's good
We can
enough.
meet again. Let's just meet again when the next record is out, or sometimes like later.
Yeah, we can talk about anything you like. Anything but soccer. Okay? No
Yeah, I promise you
190.
that. I promise you that.
Okay, we'll talk about something else. We'll have fun. All right, so here she is. Britta Görtz. I don't know. Görtz. Görtz.
Görtz.
Görtz.
Görtz.
Good. Okay. Next time. I think Jose is much better to say, you know, it's easier, Jose. Görtz is
Oh, I can give you very complicated German words if you ask me.
No. Just leave it for next time. Next time we'll talk about that.
Okay.
I only know German about bands and soccer players. I like soccer. What can I say? So I know about soccer players and names, soccer players, but that's about it. I'll try next time. Thank you very much, Britta, for your appearance, for showing up in my channel, and I really appreciate being such a nice person. Next week I have another interview, and like I always say, it's not gonna be any better than what it is now, so don't even bother. Okay, so whatever. See you soon.